Now to the United States and California, where off the coast a cyclone has been causing chaos. It's continuing to pour rain onto the already soaked American state, which has now seen at least 18 flood-related deaths there. A series of storms since Christmas has toppled power lines, has caused mudslides to rock slides onto highways. Homes have been inundated and more severe weather is expected. Sophie Long has the latest from California.
A brief respite from the rain, but water surrounds Sacramento. This landslide caused chaos in the Central Valley. There were countless others like it across California. Workers rushed to repair this sinkhole that swallowed 2 cars in Los Angeles. Like this cleanup crew at a farm in Ventura County, they know the next deluge is just days away.
It was up to our knees, running over the road. No water for 2 years, and then more water than we got in 2 years and 24 hours is not the business.
The extensive flooding has been caused by a series of atmospheric rivers, which behave like conveyor belts of water in the sky. This is the result. Entire neighbourhoods turned into lakes. Fire crews flew in to rescue a person trapped by the Ventura River, which hit its highest level ever.
I've never seen anything like this in all my 41 years living in the city.
We lost our home and all of our belongings that we had.
In the Central Valley, the floodwater overwhelmed vehicles and homes. As the current storm moves north towards the Pacific Northwest, a brief break in the extreme weather in California has meant evacuation orders in Santa Barbara have been lifted. But rivers still rage, and the runoff from the mountains keeps coming fast. There is one silver lining. The several feet of snow that's fallen in the Sierra Nevadas should run off into the reservoirs when it melts, helping to lift their levels after years of drought. But more punishing storms are expected to pound the West Coast this weekend. Sophie Long, BBC News, Los Angeles.
Well, let's go live to Stanford, California now, because I'm joined by Noah Diffenbaugh, who I can speak to, a meteorologist who is based there, climate scientist with Stanford University. It's great to have you on the programme, Noah. So just hearing from Sophie there's some huge devastation, millions of households impacted. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, it's been a lot of water in a short amount of time, and really this parade of storms. We're still in a very severe drought, and there's a lot of water to be infiltrating into the ground and running off, and we're seeing the impacts of that. And this is first and foremost, the lives have been lost and people who've lost their homes. That's the biggest concern. In the longer term, this is really what's been predicted for California in a changing climate. It's what's been unfolding, and it's certainly what we're living with now.
Yeah, it's extremely challenging, and there's more rain to come. What is the outlook in terms of the weather in the coming days?
Yeah, so we are expecting additional atmospheric river storms, and we've really had an accumulation. So there are many reservoirs that were very, very low during the drought. Our big water supply reservoirs in the state are still below average for the most part, but there are a lot of small reservoirs that are used for flood control that have filled up. The soils are very saturated. The trees and vegetation have been stressed from years of drought, and so now we're at a point where, as these storms come through, even if they are less severe in terms of how much precipitation they deliver, the landscape's really saturated, and that means that our flood risk continues for these storms that are coming in the coming days.
Now, California, as we're all very aware, has been impacted by the climate crisis on so many levels. As you mentioned, drought, incredible fires we've seen in recent years during the summer months, and now this flooding as well. As a state, California is trying to prepare and think ahead, isn't it, when it comes to these events happening?
Absolutely. California's been very proactive, not only in measures to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions within the state, but also for updating our infrastructure and our disaster preparation and response, and also environmental justice for ensuring that communities that are most vulnerable to climate change are adapting. And it's a big challenge, and water in particular is a big challenge. We have a very sophisticated water infrastructure and management system, and that was designed and built 50 or 100 or even in some cases more than 100 years ago. And it was designed and built in an old climate. We're in a new climate where hot, dry periods are more likely, but still punctuated by extreme wet conditions and these extra wet conditions that we're experiencing because of the added water vapor in the atmosphere that really delivers more precipitation when storms happen. The declining reliability of snowpack. We're fortunate that we have gotten a lot of snow accumulation in these storms. In recent years, our snow has been melting earlier and earlier. So it remains to be seen in the coming weeks and months, how this plays out. But certainly, this is all very consistent with what we know from the science of climate change.
Okay. Noah Diffenbaugh, climate scientist at Stanford University, thank you. We appreciate your expertise on this.